my skin so gorgeous. We thank the life gorgeous. Thank the life gorgeous. I love the life gorgeous. Its torso is so tight.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Life Gorgeous Craigers. This is where I share my magical life in hopes of improving your life. And my day has already improved. One of the more likable, talented guys in the business, media giant, Jon Krawczynski, who also has a podcast, The Jon Krawczynski Show, writes for The Athletic. And Jon, you wrote for The Athletic this morning.
I did.
I didn't know you were covering the Vikes all the time. Every once in a while, or what?
I usually go to the home games, help out my guy Alec Lewis a little bit, and just give a little extra layer of coverage. So Wolves are starting up pretty soon, but I still am going to get over there. Their Vikings are the biggest show in town, so I try to be involved as much as I can.
Good article. This was about Carson Wentz. Mm-hmm. And let's start there. Mm-hmm. I'm a Viking fan. Big time since 1970. I've always actually liked Carson Wentz, although I haven't seen him play that much. Mm-hmm. I like that he's 6'5". Mm-hmm. I remember early on, I think he ran a lot, but he can run strong. What did you think of his performance yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, I was impressed by it because he's only been here a month, so he hasn't exactly had a ton of time to get the system down. The thing that stood out to me the most, though, I don't think it was remarkable, but I think that one thing that was evident was that he is 32 years old. He's been experienced. He's been in the league. He's seen ups and downs. He looked very comfortable in the pocket. He looked like he had command of the offense. And that's something that, JJ McCarthy didn't quite have for much of those first 2 weeks. Understandably so. He's 22 years old. He's just figuring this thing out. But I do think that you could tell that Carson Wentz is a guy who has taken a bunch of snaps, who's played in big games, who understands what needs to happen. And I just think he just was in control most of the game, super efficient. And when you have that, this offense is pretty good when you can get that kind of play. You don't need spectacular, you need steady. And he was steady.
So I was frustrated, and I am frustrated, but I have to be patient with our new offensive line. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Christian Darrisaw did not play the first two games, and left tackle is vital. Played yesterday, played well. Carson took a few sacks in the first half that bothered me. Throw it away. Mm-hmm. But I have multiple thoughts. Another thing is, KOC, get some shorter routes in there. Yes. Because I remember when we had, I think it was Pat Shurmur, and we had a bad offensive line, and we had Sam Bradford, and everyone was mad. Why do you keep throwing under the sticks so he doesn't get sacked? You're just hoping that the receiver breaks the tackle and somehow gets the first down. But I'm a little disappointed so far with the offensive line. Our starting center now is out. What are your thoughts early in the season with the offensive line?
Yeah, I think it is something that's been a problem. And that's one of the reasons, Craig, that I've been a little bit more easy on JJ McCarthy. I just think that there were many times in the first 2 weeks where he would take the snap, and then he's got guys who have free runs at him like easily, and he has no chance to wiggle out and extend a play and make something happen. And so certainly putting Darrisaw back in there is huge. I think that he really neutralized Trey Hendrickson, who's a good player for Cincinnati. But I think your other point is well-founded in that KOC wants to throw the ball deep. He wants to get it down the field. We saw it last year with Sam Darnold all the time. Yeah. And that is a signature part of his offense. And so far, we have not seen a whole lot of indications, unfortunately, that this offensive line is capable of giving the quarterback enough time to let those routes develop. So there may need to be some adjustments here going forward. More quick game, more intermediate routes, and it may not be what KOC wants right away. But man, I just think McCarthy in particular, but yeah, even Wentz a lot in that first half was trying to make things happen and let things go and just didn't have time to do it.
I did hear Tony Romo say yesterday, and you're at the game, right?
I'm at the game, so yeah, I didn't hear what Nance and Romo were saying.
He said this is 3 new starters. Is that right on the offensive line? That is correct.
Yes.
He says that takes a beat. That takes a little while. And obviously Christian Darrisaw didn't play. We won't get healthy. I don't know when. Is it Ryan Kelly? Is that his name?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know if he's playing next week overseas. But anyway, we got to get the offensive line going. So I'm kind of taking a wait and see attitude. And let me say something about JJ McCarthy, and let me hear your response. I'm not going to really make a decision about what I think about him until I've seen him play at least 10 or 12 games, maybe even more. But I always like to go in optimistic, listening to the people. I do like how quick he is and how mobile he is and how he moves. Then I see his arm, which I've seen him make some good passes, some real tight windows. His interception where he threw it inside instead of outside didn't drive me up the wall. I thought it was really good defense. And then the other interception, I'm not talking about the pick six, but the other interception, there was a flag and I thought he had a free play and he overthrew the guy. So what's bothering me is maybe it's the speed of the game, adjusting to it. Just, I want him to get rid of the ball quicker, and that might not be on him. That again might be the routes. And I do want KOC to run the ball more. Yes. And as soon as they signed Jordan Mason, I was very excited, and I thought he played pretty well yesterday. No, he played great yesterday. But what's your attitude towards JJ McCarthy as he develops? It's pretty early, isn't it?
It's really early. I am a McCarthy believer. When I was growing up, the Gophers played in the Metrodome, and that is not college football. So my father and I would take an occasional drive out to Ann Arbor and watch Michigan games because we just wanted to see what real college football atmospheres were like. So I kind of became a pseudo Michigan fan, with those trips with my dad. And so I watched a ton of JJ McCarthy while he was at Michigan, and I like him. He's not Justin Herbert. He's not the guy who's going to stand back and has the rocket arm that's just going to sling it all over the place. But he feels more like just one of those snake stabler, like one of those just winners. And what you hear from him, what you hear from people around him who've been around him, is that he has this intangible quality of leading. And so I really like that. I get into the emotions of the game and those kind of personality dynamics, because I think they're important for a quarterback. And I think he has those. The trick right now, Craig, is that this is a team that is largely built to win right now. And it's hard to put in a young quarterback and just say, yeah, we're going to take some lumps with him and we're going to let him learn on the job. I mean, that is a tough situation for JJ to be in, because there's pressure to win right away. A lot of the guys that are top 10 quarterback picks are playing on teams that are losing games, but you're just letting him get reps. And so they have to find a way to get him to get settled in and get those reps, because I do think over the long haul, the next year, 2-3 years, I think he can be a really good player in this league. But I don't know if he's ready to do it right now. And that's kind of what they need for him to do.
So Colin Cowherd is not a JJ fan.
Oh, yeah.
But he said something, and I disagree, but he was doing the comp with JJ with Baker Mayfield. And I envision JJ McCarthy being better than Baker Mayfield. What are your thoughts on that comparison?
Yeah, well, I would say, in some ways, I think that I know Colin's history with Baker Mayfield, and he's not a fan in general. But I would almost think that it's a little bit of a compliment. I think Baker Mayfield has turned himself into a really good quarterback in Tampa. Now, the way that I look at it is, I think they're two very different players. Baker Mayfield is this ultra cocky, like Tom Cruise and Maverick type of a leader, risk taker, all that stuff. And it didn't work well for him earlier in his career, but I think like he's found a way to be mature and do it in Tampa, and it's working out well. JJ is much more of a kind of a pure, genuine, nice guy leader. He's ultra competitive, but like he has a different personality than Baker. They're both a little bit on the undersized realm. So maybe there's some similarities there. But I agree with you, Craig, that I think that JJ is capable of being better than Baker Mayfield. But I think if he does get to be better than Baker Mayfield, that's actually a really good quarterback right now.
I agree. I think he's more athletic.
Yes.
Anyway, what do you do, John? What does the coach do? Let's just say after the bye week, let's just assume that Carson Wentz plays the 2 games over in Europe. Bye week, JJ McCarthy is healthy. I'm going to add something else to the question. And Carson Wentz has played solid or better. You know? Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be tricky because these next 2 games, I think, are kind of must-win games, because even though Cleveland beat Green Bay, I just think both of those games are really winnable, and then the schedule gets so much more difficult down the stretch. So you could say that, you could say Carson Wentz plays well or solid and they win those games, but maybe he doesn't do it when the competition stiffens a little bit down the stretch. If he plays well, if he's efficient, if the offense looks kind of explosive, I think you might be hard pressed to pull him out. Because everyone else on this team is kind of pretty veteran and wants to win right now. And if he's got a rhythm and he's got a command of it, maybe ride it for a little bit longer, give him some extra time. And you can always go back to JJ a little bit later. I want to see JJ with Christian Darrisaw. I want to see him with Jordan Addison. I want to see, kind of a lot of these things happen. But it doesn't have to happen immediately. I think you kind of play the hand you're dealt and just go with it until you feel like you need to turn back the other way.
For the record, I've said this before, and I believe our friend Dan Barrero also said it. I was okay with going after Aaron Rodgers because I'm fascinated by Aaron Rodgers, and he sat 2 years behind Brett Favre. I don't mind, as much as I believe in JJ and want to believe in him and pulling for him, I don't mind him sitting a year behind Aaron Rodgers, depending upon what Aaron has left. What they're saying about Aaron Rodgers is he had a good first game, and I guess he wasn't pleased yesterday with his game. Is it sustainable for 17 games at age 41? And my attitude was, let's see, we can always bench him, which he would not be excited about. Right. But I was okay with JJ sitting and having Aaron Rodgers. But I also am fascinated by Aaron Rodgers' throwing motion. And I read a quote recently. Before, Tom Brady used to say he's more talented than I am. Then recently he said he throws the best football in NFL history, meaning this guy is more gifted than anyone throwing the football. So did you have an opinion on possibly getting Aaron Rodgers or not?
Yeah, I was definitely open to it as well. I know that there would have been all sorts of complicating factors. Yeah, soap opera stuff. Yeah. But I was in the camp of this roster is ready right now. I think that otherwise, outside of the quarterback, they're really established and talented everywhere. Yeah. And I also did not think it would have been the end of the world for JJ McCarthy to sit another year. He is 22 years old. He is really, really young. He hasn't played a ton of football. And I would have been okay with that coming off of the injury, all of those things. Even again, as a professed JJ guy, I just think that a lot of times these young quarterbacks are rushed into duty and they get messed up because they are in there too soon. And make sure that he's physically ready, make sure that he's mentally prepared, and all of those things.
Yes.
And if Rodgers is the guy that can give you one more bridge year, all the better for it. I would have been okay with that, and I would have, as a journalist, been happy to write about all the hijinks and all of the highs and the lows of an Aaron Rodgers season here.
By the way, regarding your article today in The Athletic, thank you for mentioning Jeff George.
Yes.
Kilby likes talent. I like talent. I like arm strength.
You talk about throwing a beautiful ball. I mean,
I really think I saw something on Instagram. I get all these quick, short videos, and it was, or it might have been YouTube, but Tom Brady was naming his top 5 arms of all time. And I swear to God, at 4 or 5, he said, you got to put Jeff George in there.
100%. I mean, the way that thing just shot out of his hand like a cannon, it was unbelievable. And he could flick that thing 65 yards without even sweating. He's remarkable.
Defense. I love B-Flow. I love our defense. I was very disappointed in the yardage we gave up on the rushing yards against Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember somebody saying, oh boy, the defense suffers when there's no Blake Cashman. And someone else said, oh, they shouldn't have gotten rid of Harrison Phillips for the run defense. Defense played well yesterday. I mean, obviously he had the turnovers, the freaky, crazy turnovers. What do you think of the defense, the rush defense?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's coming along very well. Even in that Atlanta game, yes, they gave up a ton of rush yards for sure, but they still should have won the game.
Yeah.
Just the defense played well enough to win that game. And so, and I thought that yesterday against Cincinnati, they were, dominant. And you're right, it wasn't just the pick 6 and the fumble return, and Rodgers was incredible, but I just think the constant pressure that Browning was under really kind of was something that I was encouraged about, because they never let him breathe. They never let him get comfortable. And that was important for a quarterback like that. And then you also had even like the play where Isaiah Rodgers has the pass breakup against T. Higgins in the end zone.
Yeah.
Like really good, good. And I thought, Craig, that Dallas Turner actually had one of his better games, even though he didn't have a sack.
Yep.
It was a lot of times if he doesn't just have a free run at the quarterback and can get him on the ground, he doesn't really do anything else to help you.
Yeah.
I thought there were times he was in the right place at the right time, and that was a growth game for Dallas Turner, which is really important if this defense is going to continue to ascend.
My favorite Viking, I've said for years, is Harrison Smith, the Hitman Harry. He was back. He tipped the pass for the interception. I can ask you this off air, but do we know what the mystery ailment was for Harrison Smith?
We do, and all I'll say, publicly is that it was an ailment. It is not anything that is expected to linger into the season. He is okay, but it's a private, personal matter, and he wants to keep it that way. And it's not a condition or an injury or something that I feel like journalistically we have to report to give the full extent on. He needed time to recover. He is okay now, and he'll be easing his way back in. But what he had was, a personal ailment, and he's okay.
Great.
He will be okay going forward.
I want to mention two things. I want to ask you. I've been saying for a few weeks, and I like Aaron Jones, and especially as a receiver out of the backfield, I think you got to start Jordan Mason. I believe Aaron Jones will be out at least 3 more games. Does that sound right?
Yes.
He was, Do we start Jordan Mason when Aaron Jones comes back?
Yeah, I think this is much more clear cut than McCarthy Wentz, Craig. I just think Mason is the guy.
Right.
I like Aaron Jones. He was really good last year. I think he can still really give you things both in the passing game and the run game, but it's just clear that Mason has more juice right now. He's younger. And what I love most about him is he is a pair of brass knuckles. Like, you put him in there And the way that he runs, as hard as he runs, as aggressive as he runs, I think that gives the offensive line a boost when you're blocking for a back like that. And so there's an element of toughness to his game that really trickles down to the rest of the team. And he's the best running back on the team, and he needs a lot more touches even than he's getting, even than he got yesterday.
Yeah, it's interesting because he runs hard, he's bruising, he's strong, but he's also shifty. He can also make the cut. I saw an interview with Harrison Smith after the game, and they said, "What do you think of Jordan Macy?" He goes, "Man, I tackled him last year when he was on the Niners, and it hurt." I told KOC as soon as we got him, that guy's great. There's another guy I want to mention. Kreger's doesn't like when the defense on third down sacks the quarterback, and then they punt to us, and then our punt returner fumbles, and we give them the ball right there. It's devastating. It's luck. It's awful. I can't stand it. So I'm worried before the season about, okay, who's our punt returner? And now I'm not worried anymore. I not only do I like Myles Price, and now because I haven't seen him fumble, I think he's sure-handed, Marcus Sherrill's type, but he's aggressive. His thing is, I'm going to make at least one guy miss. He really likes to return the punts. What are your thoughts on Myles Price, our new punt returner?
Yeah, Sherrill's is a great comparison because we have seen plenty of guys come through over the years that just want to fair catch it and they're not a threat. But Price is a threat back there. And the thing that I felt even as early as week 2, Craig, I looked at Alec Lewis, my colleague, and I just said, I trust that he's going to make the catch and hold on to it and not turn over. He just looks like it's very natural to him.
Right.
But he also is able to set himself up to catch the ball where he's in position to catch and go.
Yeah.
And I think that really helps things. He's a technically sound punt returner. And so I think it's a dynamic that they have been missing. And so slotting him in there now, I think really gives them another element that you have to worry about. And that is not something that I knew going into the season would develop. But yes, he's been a pleasant surprise, not only at the sure-handedness, but at the ability to do some damage when he gets moving.
We now shift, ladies and gentlemen, to one of my favorite subjects and John's favorite subjects. Just a couple questions for Jonny Athletic. Timberwolves pride.
Let's go.
So I had this thought that against certain teams, it doesn't matter if Dante DiVincenzo is bringing the ball up. We had Naw do it before he's gone. Against OKC, it would be nice to have a TJ McConnell coming off the bench, a true point guard. So my attitude is there is pressure on Rob Dillingham, which I like because I'm intrigued by him. I've accepted he's not going to be that steadying force. He's going to be this explosive poor man's Iverson type. Anywho, did you think they were going to get, and will they still might get, a true backup point guard besides Rob Dillingham?
Right. Yeah. This summer I didn't, Craig, because I know there was talk about Malcolm Brogdon or Campaign or somebody like that.
Yeah.
But my understanding was that their calculus on the decision was they did not want another veteran here that would impede Rob Dillingham from playing. I think they wanted to set up the roster to where Dillingham has real opportunity. They they made the trade to get him at number 8. He didn't play enough last year, and he needs to play. And similar to McCarthy, like just get him out there, get him reps, and let him go. But with the way that this team is constructed and the way that Tim Connolly operates, if come February, it's clear that Dillingham is not up to the task. It's clear that it's not working. It wouldn't surprise me at all for Tim to go out and get someone. But I think that everyone wants Rob Dillingham to succeed, and he's going to get the chance to do it.
Because I like him. The other thing
Yeah.
I was going to say is we've been very fortunate back-to-back years, Western Conference Finals, but the regular season can be so entertaining when you have bench players you're rooting for.
Yeah.
So forget right now the playoffs. I know we want to win a championship. Let's enjoy Jalen Clark and Terrence Shannon Jr. and Rob Dillingham. This is going to be so much fun. Like last year, I was really pulling for Dante, and it took him a while, but then that quick release, it's really enjoyable to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a fun year. Side note, Jalen Clark is a guard.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way he can bring the ball up, is there?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
You know, we watched in Summer League, Craig, and, you know, they tried to give him more of an offensive load there, like as a shooter, playmaker. He didn't look comfortable. It doesn't mean that he'll never be able to do it, but I don't think you're going to see that. I think it'll be Clark, it'll be DiVincenzo, it'll be Edwards, Julius Randle will be big, kind of in kind of just facilitating offense. But yeah, I think that I think Jalen Clark is just more of a prototypical two catch and shoot guy, you know, score, cut into the basket, and that's it.
Okay, so I did a little research, John, because I care.
Yeah.
Nickeil Alexander-Walker last year for the Wolves averaged 25.3 minutes a game, 25.3. Dante, 25.9. Mike Conley, 24.7. Rob Dillingham, 10.5.
Yeah.
What do you anticipate Rob Dillingham's minutes to be this year if he stays with the team the entire year?
Yeah, I think, like, you know, and that 10.5 is actually a little misleading because it's only in the games that he played, and he didn't play in a lot, right? So, and generally when he did play, there was an injury or something that happened. Yeah. And so he played next to nothing at all last year.
Right.
I do think that when you look at it, and I haven't broken down the minutes minute by minute, but I would expect Mike Conley maybe to drop a couple of minutes, maybe down to 21, 20, somewhere in there, to free up a few more. But I think they do want Rob to get 12, 14 minutes at least to start. And then if he shows that he's capable of doing more, he will do more. I think right now, though, that when you look at those Nickeil minutes that are gone, I think Terrence Shannon Jr. is going to get more of those.
Right.
Like, they really like him. He's a different dynamic, but I think he's going to eat up a lot of those minutes.
Well, that means to me that Dante's going to handle the ball more.
I think so. I think that there is a possibility that he starts. He's in the starting lineup, and Conley comes out. Yeah. Finchie loves Conley, and I think that, you know, he's had a really healthy summer and he has a chance. But to kind of give Dante more of an opportunity to establish a rhythm, to leverage his offense, which he clearly has, I think that it would not shock me at all, whether it's opening night or, you know, a month in or whatever, that Dante is starting alongside Ant there.
You mentioned TJ, Terrence Shannon Jr., who I adore. Is it fair of me to say he's got some Ginobili in him?
I don't know about that one.
Well, Greg, the way he's left-handed and drives.
Left-handed, yes.
What about driving to the hoop?
Yeah,
Ginobili would drive. He would drive.
Ginobili would drive, but when Shannon drives, he drives with violence on his mind. And Ginobili was a slippery eel, right? Like, I mean, you know, and super creative and makes plays, but also could score. Shannon is just gonna absolutely put you into this basketball stanchion. And so he plays with a different style, but like, he can be, as I think, impactful in terms of energy off of the bench. I mean, they'd bring Ginobili off the bench and the game would entirely change for San Antonio. And I think that's kind of the plan with Shannon and Nas. You bring those two guys off the bench, and it just changes the chemistry of the building in a heartbeat. And for a team that wants to run more, which they have to do, they have to get out in transition. Like, Shannon is that guy. Like, as soon as they have the ball, he is running and trying to throw it down in transition, which is great.
I wanted to compare him to somebody. When we drafted him, I saw his release point on his shot, and I said, "Oh, Sean Marion."
Yeah,
And
right.
then I saw him drive a little in Summerlee. I go, "Oh, Michael Beasley."
Mhm.
Now I'm starting to say Ginobili, and now you've kind of said no. I don't know. Maybe he's just TJ. Maybe there's no comparison. Oh, you know who used to be a bull, and again left-handed. Maybe before you were born, Sharunas Marshallonis.
Oh, I mean, I knew, yeah, he was. I mean, that was right at the early ends of my basketball fandom, but I
Yeah,
remember Sharunas Marshallonis. Yeah, like
he was
I
very
think,
strong.
yeah,
Yeah.
physical guys going to the rim, and attacking that way. Yeah, I like that. I'll think a little bit more about some comparisons, but
Okay.
yeah, like, yeah, I think he's going to be a big part of what they're doing. They love what they've seen from him.
We now shift, ladies and gentlemen, and there's some things happening in television. My old friend Jimmy Kimmel, who's a nice guy, is in some hot water. He was suspended by ABC. People are saying canceled. The show is not canceled unless Jimmy decides not to come back, unless they can't work out a deal. They're communicating, ABC, Disney. What are your? I have a few thoughts. What are your thoughts on the situation?
Yeah, I mean, it's like as a member of the media in a different fashion, but certainly, in this atmosphere, it's incredibly troubling the way that this is all played out. Now, look, I don't believe that every person has the right to say whatever they want on TV, and that's without any repercussions. But those repercussions should be fans just decide, or watchers deciding, hey, I don't like this guy, I don't want to watch, or ratings going down, and then maybe decisions are made that way. But to me, it's pretty clear that the decisions were made from a direct threat from the government. Kind of linked to the Tegna and Nexstar and their business holdings. And so that to me is a bridge way too far. And that is what kind of makes this situation elevate from, censorship from cancel culture to like out and out censorship and like strong arming, someone's free speech like that. It's just galling to see how it's played out.
Totally agree. The president should not get involved in firing
No.
someone. I don't think the FCC should get involved. I think only the network ABC should get involved. 25 years ago, Kreger's was doing the Late Late Show on CBS, and next door at Television City was an ABC show called Politically Incorrect. They rented out that space at Television City, Bill Maher. And I knew some of the people on the staff, and Bill got in hot water for saying something inflammatory and I thought ridiculous. I don't know if you remember about the suicide bomber.
Yeah.
But I said to my friend on this, who was the stage manager for Bill, I said, he should not get fired. You should not get fired for what you say, especially what he said was in the heat of the moment. And obviously Jimmy Kimmel should not get fired. What's interesting is what he said has been interpreted a couple different ways. I don't know if you know exactly what Jimmy said.
I do.
But it's interpreted one way where he was saying the shooter was on the right, which he did not say. He was saying that the MAGA people were quick to point out he's not one of us. Because my understanding is immediately after the assassination, which should be a time of mourning and saying violence has no place in our society, the two extremes, left and right, were saying he's not one of us. That was their big thing. And Jimmy was in fact scoring points because he's made a decision. He's a Democrat, just like Stephen Colbert. Their shows are left leaning and they've made that decision. What are your thoughts on how the quote was interpreted?
Yeah. I mean, when I saw what he said, it certainly did not read to me like it seemed like many on the right were interpreting it as him saying that it was a MAGA individual who fired the shot. Like he was not saying that. He was saying that there was a rush to say it wasn't us, and on the left as well. To me, like it does seem like the thing that has got him in more hot water was the joke that he made about the president's mourning or not mourning him, and whether that's in poor taste or not, or whether that's poorly timed or not, I don't know, but I also do know that there have been many things said much more inflammatory on Jimmy Kimmel's show, on many shows that brought the ire of people that also did not result in the suspension, did not result in any of that. And instead, this one in particular came about at a time when the FCC guy says, well, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Like, what is that? When you have Ted Cruz coming out and saying that's like mafioso stuff, like that's really concerning.
I would say what Jimmy said, some people called misleading. He could have been crystal clear in what he was saying. So was he strategic in the way he said it, and to say this can be interpreted a couple different ways? I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to poke a little bit here. Or did he just make a mistake and say it's a little convoluted and who knows? My thing is, Kreger's is a glorious independent. He lives above the political fray, but I do say I only want to hear from the moderates on both sides, not the far left or the far right. And I would even say if the shooter, and I don't know what side he's on, if the shooter is on the right, it doesn't excuse the bad behavior of the left and vice versa. I just don't like either side. Both Adam Carolla and Bill Maher, friends of Jimmy, disagreed with what he said, but maybe they were interpreting it a different way. I'm not sure. Robert Redford, we're now shifting because you don't get John Krawczynski on your podcast all the time. He's a busy man. I was a Redford fan, and I have a favorite film of his that I rewatch a lot called 3 Days of the Condor with Max von Sydow. Were you a big Redford fan, and what was your favorite film?
Yeah, I remember the first time I came on The Life Gorgeous, we did the top 5 films, and my number 1 film of all time is All the President's Men.
Yeah.
I'm a journalist. Like it's everything that you aspire to be in journalism. And so Redford has been, I've seen him in that movie more than 100 times. He is remarkable in the movie, but certainly loved his work in Sneakers and in so many other films as well. But All the President's Men is like my North Star. And so like he is just a giant part of my life because of that, and because of what it did for journalism and how it portrayed it, and all of the things. And I know all the work that he did behind the scenes to get that movie made. Just in an unending amount of respect for him, and and thankful for the gift that he gave, because that I'll never stop watching that movie. It's the best thing I've.
Have you seen 3 Days of the Condor yet, or not yet?
I have not. No.
You'll like it. You'll like it. It's good stuff. John, always a joy. Let's have a great season, both Vikings and Timberwolves. We'll be talking to you down the road.
Sounds good, Craigers. Thanks so much.
That's our show. We'll see you next time. Remember, young people, I'm proud of you.